Imagine this for a moment. It's 2026 and the biggest wealth shift you're witnessing isn't led by celebrities, billionaires, or people with Ivy League degrees. It's being led by ordinary people, people who were once stuck in 9-to-5 routines, overwhelmed by bills, confused about money, and convinced that wealth was reserved for someone else. The real shock is not that they are becoming rich. The shock is how quietly and systematically it's happening. No lottery tickets, no overnight miracles. Just smart decisions repeated consistently in a world that finally rewards clarity over chaos. Here's the truth most people miss. Average people aren't becoming rich because they suddenly got smarter. They're becoming rich because the rules changed and they were willing to adapt while others stayed comfortable. In 2026, information is no longer the advantage. Discipline is. Everyone has access to the same videos, the same podcasts, the same tools. What separates those who grow wealthy is not motivation, but execution. The average person who wins today is not the loudest or the most confident. It's the one who quietly builds systems and sticks to them long after excitement fades. One of the biggest reasons average people are rising is because they stopped chasing money and started chasing leverage. They understood that time is limited, but skills compound. In 2026, skills like digital communication, personal branding, data literacy, AI-assisted productivity, and financial literacy are worth more than traditional credentials. Average people are learning how to package monetize what they enjoy and scale what they create. They are no longer asking, how much do I earn per hour? They're asking, how many times can this effort pay me back? That shift alone changes everything. Another silent revolution is happening in mindset. Average people are finally questioning the advice they inherited. They realize that working harder doesn't automatically mean earning more. Saving alone doesn't create wealth, and being busy is not the same as being productive. In 2026, wealth is built by people who measure outcomes, not effort. They track where money leaks, where time is wasted, and where energy is best invested. They don't try to look rich. They try to become financially unshakable. That's why many future millionaires today still look ordinary live modes. And move strategically. Technology is no longer intimidating them, it's empowering them. Average people are using AI not to replace thinking, but to amplify it. They automate boring tasks, analyze decisions faster, and create content, products, and services with minimal cost. What once required a team now requires clarity and consistency. The gap between idea and income has never been small. The people winning in 2026 aren't tech geniuses. They're curious learners who refuse to say, this is too complicated for me. One of the most powerful shifts is how average people now treat money. They don't see money as something to spend when it arrives. They see it as a tool that must be assigned a job. They invest earlier, even in small amounts. They diversify income streams instead of relying on one salary. They prioritize cash flow over status. And most importantly, they stopped waiting for the perfect time. They understood that imperfect action beats perfect planning every single time. While others wait for certainty, they build momentum. Let's talk about discipline, because that's the unglamorous secret behind this rise. Average people becoming rich in 2026 are not obsessed with motivation. They're obsessed with routines. They wake up earlier not to hustle endlessly, but to think clearly. They consume less entertainment and more education. They budget without shame and invest without fear. They understand that small habits, repeated daily, outperform rare bursts of effort. Wealth for them is not an event. It's a process. Social media also played a strange but powerful role. Average people stopped using it only for scrolling and started using it for positioning. They share ideas, document journeys, build trust, and attract opportunities. They don't wait to be experts, they grow in public. In 2026, attention is currency, and average people finally learned how to earn it without selling their integrity. They understood that value creates visibility and visibility creates income. What's even more interesting is that fear no longer controls them the way it used to. They still feel fear, but they don't obey it. They've seen too many examples of people just like them winning to believe the old excuses. They know failure is data, not identity. They know starting small is not a weakness, it's a strategy. And they know that staying average financially is often more risky than trying something new. So if you're listening to this and thinking, I'm just an average person, understand this clearly. Average is no longer a limitation, it's a starting point. The people becoming rich in 2026 didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait to feel ready. They made one decision differently, then another, until their financial life looked unrecognizable. They chose progress over comfort, learning over ego, systems over shortcuts. Most people think wealth is about working harder, staying longer, and sacrificing more. But in 2026, that belief is quietly destroying financial potential. The game has changed, and average people who recognize this early are pulling ahead while others stay stuck, doing everything right and still falling behind. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The old rules reward obedience, not growth. Showing up on time, working harder than everyone else, and waiting patiently for raises no longer guarantees security, let alone wealth. The people winning today are not breaking themselves for money. They are breaking outdated thinking. What average people are doing differently is simple but powerful. They stopped asking how to earn more by working extra hours and started asking how to make 1 hour of effort work multiple times. That single question rewires the way decisions are made. Instead of chasing overtime, they chase leverage. Leverage through skills that scale, systems that repeat, and tools that multiply output. In 2026, the most valuable asset is not strength or speed, it is adaptability. Average PEO. People who learn how to adapt quickly are outperforming those who cling to comfort and familiarity. One of the biggest hooks here is this: the playing field has never been more equal, yet most people are still playing as if it's unfair. Access to knowledge is no longer limited. The same information that once lived inside elite institutions now lives on phones in people's pockets. The difference is OT access, it's action. Average people who are becoming rich are not consuming information for entertainment, they are consuming it to implement. They learn one skill, apply it immediately, improve it publicly, and then stack another skill on top. This creates a powerful compound effect that looks like talent from the outside but is really structured learning on the inside. Another major shift is that average people stopped respecting titles and started respecting outcomes. In the old game, status came from job roles and years of experience. In the new game, value comes from results. If you can solve a problem, communicate clearly, or help someone save time or money, you have leverage. In 2026, average people are monetizing clarity, not credentials. They build personal brands, niche expert, and digital assets that speak for them even when they're silent. This is why people with average backgrounds are now earning incomes that once seemed unrealistic. There is also a silent rejection happening. Average people are rejecting the idea that they must wait for permission to grow. They are not waiting for promotions, approvals, or perfect conditions. They start small, experiment and adjust quickly. They understand that momentum is more valuable than perfection. While others overthink, they move. While others analyze risk, they build skill. This willingness to start before feeling ready is a massive competitive advantage in 2026 because speed beats certainty in fast-changing environments. Technology is another factor, but not in the way most people assume. Average PEO. PLE are not trying to become tech experts, they're becoming tech-aware. They use tools to remove friction, automate low-value tasks, and amplify high-value thinking. AI, digital platforms, and online systems are not threats to them. They are leverage. The hook most people miss is this: technology rewards clarity, not intelligence. If you know what outcome you want, tools will help you get there. If you don't, they only create more noise. Average people who are winning have learned to focus first, then use tools to scale that focus. Perhaps the most powerful change is psychological. Average people stopped measuring success by effort and started measuring it by results. They no longer feel proud of being exhausted. They feel proud of being effective. They ask sharper questions, track what works, and remove what doesn't. This mindset shift alone separates those who stay average financially from those who quietly rise. It's not dramatic, it's deliberate. It's not loud, it's consistent. The reason this works so well in 2026 is because most people refuse to let go of the old game. They are loyal to habits that no longer serve them. Average people who are becoming rich are not or gifted, they are more honest with themselves. They admit when something isn't working and change direction without ego. They treat money like a system, not an emotion, and that is why they are pulling ahead in a world that finally rewards strategy over struggle. Most people are waiting to feel motivated before they change their financial lives, and that waiting is the very reason they stay sane. Motivation is unreliable, emotional, and temporary. It spikes when you watch an inspiring video and disappears the moment discomfort shows up. In 2026, average people who are becoming rich understand something brutally honest: if your progress depends on how you feel, you will lose. That realization alone separates dreamers from builders. Wealth today is not built on excitement. It is built, structure. The people pulling ahead are not waking up every day feeling inspired. They are waking up with non-negotiables. Systems decide their actions, not moods. Whether they feel confident or tired, focused or distracted, the routine still runs. This is the hook most people miss. Discipline is not about force or suffering, it is about removing decisions. When you don't have to decide whether to learn, save, invest, or execute, you conserve mental energy for higher value thinking. Average people who master this quietly outperform those who rely on bursts of motivation. There is a powerful illusion around successful people that needs to be broken. From the outside, it looks like they are always driven, always consistent, always on. The truth is far less glamorous. They simply built habits that operate even on bad days. In 2026, the winners are not emotionally strong, they are structurally smart. They design environments that make the right behavior easier and the wrong behavior harder. They automate saving, schedule learning, limit distractions, and create accountability. Once the system is in place, progress becomes inevitable. Another hook is this: discipline compounds stir than talent. Talent gives you a head start, but discipline keeps you moving when the road gets boring. Most financial progress happens in silence during periods when nothing exciting seems to be happening. Average people who are becoming rich don't quit during these phases because they never expected constant excitement in the first place. They expected repetition. They understand that bored is not a signal to stop, it is a signal that compounding is working. In 2026, discipline also shows up in how average people manage their attention. They are ruthless with distractions. They consume less noise and more signal. They don't scroll endlessly and then wonder why they feel unproductive. They guard their mornings, protect their focus, and schedule their priorities. This is not extreme discipline, it is intentional living. The hook here is simple. Whoever controls your attention controls your outcomes. Average people who recognize this early regain power over their time and eventually their income. Financial discipline is another quiet differentiator. The people rising are not obsessed with appearing successful. They delay gratification without feeling deprived because they are playing a longer game. They track spending not to restrict themselves, but to understand themselves. They invest consistently even when amounts feel small, because they trust the process more than emotions. In 2026, wealth favors those who can stay calm while others react emotionally to short-term noise. What makes this discipline sustainable is that it is not fueled by fear or pressure. It is fueled by identity. Average people stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming?" When identity shifts, behavior follows naturally. They no longer need external motivation to act responsibly, learn daily, or build skills. Those actions become part of who they are. This is where real transformation happens, not through force, but through alignment. The biggest mistake people make is assuming discipline means doing more. In reality, it often means doing less, but doing it consistently. Average people who are becoming rich in 2026 focus on fewer goals, fewer platforms, fewer habits, and execute them better. They understand that scattered effort feels productive but produces nothing. Focused discipline applied daily creates momentum that is almost impossible to stop. The uncomfortable truth is that discipline doesn't feel heroic. There is no applause for waking up early to learn, no celebration for sticking to a budget, no recognition for saying no to distractions. But this is exactly why it works. Most people avoid what feels boring and repetitive. Average people who embrace it gain an unfair advantage, and over time, what looked ordinary starts producing extraordinary results. quietly reshaping their financial reality while others are still waiting to feel motivated. Most people believe wealth arrives through one big breakthrough, one perfect opportunity, or one life-changing decision. But in 2026, that belief is keeping more people poor than ever before. The truth is far less dramatic and far more powerful. Average people are becoming rich because they stopped chasing big wins and started respecting small decisions. Decisions so small, they feel insignificant in the moment, yet so consistent that they quietly reshape an entire future. This is the part of success that rarely goes viral but always works. Every day, average people are making choices that seem boring on the surface. They choose to learn for 20 minutes instead of scrolling for an hour. They choose to track expenses instead of ignoring bank notifications. They choose to invest a small amount regularly instead of waiting for a better time. None of these actions feel like wealth-building moves at first. That's the hook. If it felt powerful immediately, everyone would do it. The real power is revealed only after time does its work. In 2026, compounding is no longer a financial concept, it is a lifestyle principle. Small improvements in skills, habits, and decisions stack on top of each other. 1% better thinking leads to better choices. Better choices lead to better opportunities. Better opportunities lead to leverage. From the outside, it looks like luck. From the inside, it's intentional repetition. Average people who understand this stop underestimating what daily discipline can do over months and years. One of the most important small decisions average people are making is how they start their day. Not with urgency, but with intention. They don't rush into chaos. They take time to think, plan, and align their actions with long-term goals. This single habit changes the quality of every decision that follows. The hook here is subtle, be you. Powerful, your financial future is shaped less by what you earn and more by how you think before you act. Another quiet shift is how average people treat learning. They don't wait until they feel confident or qualified. They learn while doing. They improve through repetition, not perfection. A small daily commitment to skill building in areas like communication, money management, and digital leverage creates exponential returns over time. In 2026, knowledge alone is not valuable. Applied knowledge, repeated consistently, is what creates income and independence. Small decisions also show up in how average people handle money emotionally. They pause before spending. They ask whether a purchase supports their future or only satisfies the present. They don't eliminate enjoyment, they eliminate impulse. This emotional discipline compounds faster than any single investment. Over time, these micro decisions create financial breathing room, and financial breathing room creates opportunity. That is how average people slowly transition from surviving to strategizing. Consistency is the invisible force behind all of this. Average people are not trying to change everything at once. They pick a few behaviors and protect them fiercely. They understand that progress does not require intensity, it requires continuity. Missing one day doesn't matter, missing the habit does. This mindset removes guilt and builds resilience. Instead of quitting after a setback, they return to the process. That ability to restart quickly is one of the most underrated wealth-building skills in 2026. Social comparison no longer drives their decisions. Average people stop copying what looks successful and start building what is sustainable. They make choices based on alignment, not pressure. This protects them from lifestyle inflation, burnout, and financial stress. Small decisions like living slightly below means, reinvesting early gains, and staying patient with growth produce long-term freedom that flashy moves never deliver. What makes these small decisions so powerful is that they don't require extraordinary confidence, intelligence, or resources. They require awareness that every choice is a vote for the future you are building. In 2026, average people are winning because they stopped waiting for a perfect moment and started honoring the power of now. One decision at a time, one habit at a time, one disciplined choice repeated daily. They create outcomes that once seemed impossible, not through miracles, but through momentum that never stops building.